1063. In other words, 3 years before the Battle of Hastings, when William the Conqueror conquered Great Britain. This was built 3 years before. Okay, so the building is, we'll be visiting it, so there's nothing I have to anticipate to you, but it's an Oriental building. Our churches were never built like this, with domes. We have only a normal pyramid up there, okay? A pyramid, a roof, okay, without any dome. Here we have 5 domes. If we move a little bit, please follow me. You will see the four of number 5 is just behind the big one. And notice the big onion. Onion. Can you see it? The central onion. Right on the central dome, there's an onion. Okay? This, we call it in English, onion dome. Okay? So, and you normally see this when you watch TV, the news. They let you see the Red Square. Right in front of the Red Square, there's a church like this, St. Basil's, which is not a Latin cross, which would be the normal rule, but the Greek cross, 4 equal arms. And there is one dome over each arm, plus the central one with the big onion on it. So this you find it from Russia to Egypt, and from Greece to Armenia and to Turkey. Not in the West, in the Middle East. So why do we have this church here? I'm trying to stimulate you. I will never give you any answer. You will have it at the end of the story. So you'll be mine to the end. Stay tuned. And another thing I would like to tell you. Have you got an idea of the reason why Mr. Shakespeare wrote The Merchant of this town? Being English, he should have written The Merchant of London, as far as I know. Wrote The Merchant of Venice instead. Why? This, you will know it at the end of my tour. Okay?
Sounds like a deal.
So we go straight into that building, not this, the next one. Can you see on the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Doge's Palace. Doge's Palace was the political heart of Venice. It's a Gothic building. He started it in 828 with the first church. This is number 3, by the way, the third church. I don't know if they told you anything about these buildings, you know, but have a look. This building here is not normal, is it? Because we have too many openings. Can you see this? Too many windows. It's too much. Isn't it? So why do we have all these? Also this, look at me. So they have to build this as light as possible because underneath our feet there's no bedrock. Could you hear me? No bedrock. So where do you put a building like this, you know, with a lot of weight, very much concentrated on that base? What do you do when you walk on the snow? You sink. Right. That's the correct answer. So what do we do not to sink? We put on snowshoes. Don't we? In other words, we spread our weight, and the larger the base we walk on, the smaller the pressure will be.
Right.
Okay? So this had to be spread, the weight of this had to be spread on 3,000 wood pilings, driven previously into the mud to strengthen the soil. And this only for this building. Imagine for all the others, wherever you find a column, a pillar, they have to drive wood pilings into the mud.
Wood, don't they rot?
No, the wood rots only in the air. But for this building here, you need more feet in the ground. Okay, so the pilings are below the level of the water in the canals, which is between what? 4, 5, 6 feet. For this building, you need more than 6 feet. So the wood pilings are not in the water, they are in the mud. And there is no air.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, I guess you know that when they find the Roman ships, the very old Roman ships, at least 2,000 years old, if the wood is in the water, the wood is perfect. Perfect. When you try to pull it down, there you have all the problems. Because the problem is not the water, it's the air. Okay? It's anaerobic. I guess you know.
Yeah.
Without air. Okay? Without air, there's no rotting possible.
Huh. Okay.
Okay? This way.
See.
Trovo dopo qua.
Dice bello la pasta.
Ok.
Dice bello il yoga che è stata fuori.
Va bene. Do you see that sign where that lady is? There is a white sign. Come a little closer. Yes, there is a date. Can you see it?
Yes. No, 4/11.
4th November. November 4, 1966. We had this much of water here all the way around. Water from the Adriatic. That was the disaster. All this was completely flooded. Okay. And look, behind you, there is the clock tower. This is the bell tower. This is brand new, by the way. Can you see? It was rebuilt in 1912. The previous one crumbled in itself in 1902. It imploded in itself. That was a miracle. St. Mark's. He's buried in there, by the way. St. Mark, the Gospel writer, is buried in this church. We will see his tomb later on. So this is the clock tower. Right at the top, you can see two big statues. We call them Moors because they're black. Got a pivot in the right leg, so they rotate like this to hit the bell every hour on twice. First the one on that side, right hand side, then the other one. It hits the bell on the hour. Then we have our which is everywhere. Have a look. The second is up here, the third is down there. There's nothing but wings and lions. This you find it in the Bible. The prophets describe the God's throne, and under the God's throne you find the cherubs and the seraphs, say the Jews. We call them archangels. Okay? There's a man with the wings, a lion with the wings, a bull with the wings, and an eagle. This, in a Christian context, is the symbol of Saint Mark, the Gospel writer. So why do we have this here? Because Saint Mark is the patron saint of Venice. So his lion, you will find it everywhere. And right underneath the lion, there is a digital clock. Can you see? I said digital because of the English word, digits, figures, numbers, you know. Roman on the left-hand side for the hour, Arabic on the other side for the minutes. So what time is it?
9:20.
The minutes, though, do not change every minute, but every 5 minutes. Okay? So now it's between 20 and 25, let's say.
Right.
Okay? Then underneath that balcony, there is the original clock with 24 hours. Can you see all the hours? 24, not 12 a.m., p.m., but from 1 to 24 all the way through. Okay? And there is a big mistake. Look at the dial. We have the signs of the zodiac all the way around. There is a big mistake where the center is. In the center, there's not the sun, but the earth.
Right.
How
That's
come?
what they thought.
Well,
That's what they
this was built before the Galileo's discovery. So when this was built, Galileo was not born yet. So they put us in the center, and the sun is still going around us. Okay, only on the earth, there's only Venice where you can see this, the old situation. This way, please.
il mosaico più questo dove ci sono nascosti nelle lingue
Che cazzo pure,
che da spiegare
lavora lì perché va a Bidone.
This is the exit from the palace. And over the exit, there is a gentleman. Can you see him? He's kneeling down in front of a winged lion. That was a doge. Doge is a function. The word is D-U-C-O. Da. Duco. Take the English word aqueduct. D-U-C-T. Comes from Duco. So the aqueduct is a leader of aqua.
leader of the water.
So it means to lead. I'm your ducks at the moment. In Latin, I'm guiding you. I'm leading you. I'm a ducks. D-U-X. Okay? And right where the top is, you see there is a lady with two things, sword and scale. Her name is Justitia in Latin. In English, justice. So this was also Palace of Justice. What does it mean? They had a court in it. And after the sentence, people have to go from this building here into the next. Jail, state prison. But between the two buildings, there is a canal. So to go across, they needed a link. Shall we call it Bridge of Sighs? S-I-G-H-S. Okay? You normally think that the bridge was a bridge for people in love. It's absolutely wrong. Okay? Because listen, some of the prisoners have to go from the cell, across the same bridge, to the columns. Can you see those two columns? That was the chopping block. In other words, they beheaded them right there in between. Would you call these lovers' signs? I would say no.
No.
So this is the famous Lord Byron's mistake. If you go to England, maybe you've seen this, where the universities are, Oxford and Cambridge, there is one small bridge, one above a canal, the other one above the street. But both are called Bridges of Sighs, S-I-G-H-S. So when he came here, he thought that the bridge had the same function of the ones you find in England. But this was a little bit different, because there they had to be chopped with an axe. So, but you know, Lord Byron was not a commoner, he was Lord Byron. And when he wrote that that was a bridge for people in love, everybody thought he was right. So a bridge for prisoners became a bridge for people in love. And that's it. A mistake.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Why is that guy taking pictures all the way along the guy on the scaffold?
They have to show you the structure. Very old, this is wood from Egypt. All this. Restore, clean.
Oh, okay.
You know,
But he's
there's
taking
a
photos.
lot of work to do.
Okay.
He's looking at the veins of the marble to see if there are any cracks.
There is another winged lion. The other one on the right column is not George. No, because George is on horseback and with the lance is killing the dragon. So the iconography is more or less the same, but not exactly the same. Both eliminated the dragon. That one is neither a crocodile nor an alligator. That is the devil. Evil. Now, in China, they pray the dragon. In the West, you never pray the dragon because the dragon is the devil. So that one is the devil, and the George and Theodore submitted evil. Submit means I put under. This is another Latin word. But having no horse, he's not George, Theodore. His name is Theodore, like Roosevelt. And between Mark and Theodore, they beheaded people. Okay? So when we are in trouble, what do we say? We say we are between Mark and Theodore. Which in English would be I'm between the devil and the deep blue sea. In American English, it changes a lot. Between the rock and the hard place. We say here between Mark and Theodore.
And if you're from the south, it's between Sheila and Charybdis. Right?
Between Calabria and Sicily.
The two monsters.
Sei suo. Cross the water, you see right in front of us. There's San Giorgio. San Giorgio, this architecture is very important for the American architecture. The one at towns, I'm talking about what, Senate, in Washington, D.C. How about the White House, built like this with 4, 6, 8, 10 columns with a pediment. The triangle is called pediment, especially in the South. You see the Georgia, you put the plantations. But he was born here, Palladio, the name of the architect. He studied the Greek and the Roman architecture. As he introduced the Greek Roman architecture in the West, and that's it. Okay? Let's go on. There's a lot of haze this morning. Normally you can see from here the Lido in front of us. There is the Lido, which is a natural barrier against the Adriatic. But today we cannot see it because of the haze.
Follow the guide.
Now you'll be controlled. If they point out with a finger like this, one of the things you go on, it means they want to give a look into it. So please open it. They do this in our own interest. For security reasons, you be all controlled. Okay? Stay quiet. Keep quiet. Okay, they only want to know if you've got something dangerous on. Please, you've got 2 lanes.
Force them all away.
Go to the block. Keep following, please. Keep following. So if you have to deposit your big backpacks, please follow me. Once of you with nothing on, please stay there where you are. Okay? So this must be deposited, this must be deposited. Purses, you can keep them. Purses, you can keep them. It's okay. Okay. I think that this... come with us. Would you? The rest of you, please stay there. Okay?
Oh, you can.
Yeah, I can.
You can see everywhere in Europe. The pointed arches, we call them Gothic. You find them all over Europe, starting from Norway through Sweden, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, all over. Pointed arches like this. Gothic. Okay? And here we have the Renaissance arches. This was born here. Renaissance, we call it. Or, I don't know, Renaissance. Well, whatever. Renaissance, they say in Australia. Okay, so, anyway. But this is local. What is not local is what I pointed out up there. You can see the church is still up there. The church with the dome. And well, I'll be explaining this as I told you at the end. Now, would you please follow me? Some of you's gone. I call them hydraulic problems. You're not supposed to have any hydraulic problem because you just came out from the hotel. Anyway, one never knows. We got the loo up here. Okay, we have the WC. Please let me know if you stop. Otherwise, I keep going.
Yes, my wife just stopped.
Somebody's already home.
Romina per diventare usare qua prima che si
Okay.
Quindi fa un annuncio.
So we go at the end of the tour, we'll all go to the clock room. Excuse me, to the WC. You have the chance of solving your hydraulic problems at the end.
Vedi poi passare, bravo. Sì, davanti.
This part here was open to the public. They had the bureaus, offices all the way around. So this was the seat of the bureaucracy. So they had the administration down here. So everybody could come up, they could go in, they could stay here, they could walk around. Not everybody could go up. This is Atlas. He's holding up the world on his shoulders. I remind you. So, what would you say? Who could go up? The ones who could carry the world on their shoulders. In other words, to be very clear, Mr. Bill Gates. I would say that is me now in these days, and he would go up because he bears the destinies of the world on his shoulder. So that sort of people could go up. Okay, you see, without any sign, you just put that there. Of course, you must know who Atlas is. But once you know that Atlas is carrying the world, that's it. Everybody, it's a snap. So only the ones who could carry the world could go up.
What about the other one?
Hercules, one of the 12 labors, is killing the Hydra. Can you see that monster with the two heads? Is imagine to be on a boat or in a ship on the ocean. Okay. You can be attacked by the Hydra, the water, from the starboard, from the port. So the monster has got two heads. But these people were sailors. You could build very good ships. So they were like Hercules, who killed the monster. Okay? That's what it means. These were sailors, merchants, sailors, very rich. So rich to bear the destinies of the world on their shoulders. We'll understand this. We'll go up. And I'll be explaining this. Okay? So, For these people who could go up, there was in this, right behind the bars, a golden book. Golden book. It was not a book, it was a wooden structure. We will see this at the end. And so those who could go up were in the golden book. And those who were in the golden book, sorry, can you read this? Could go up through what? The golden staircase. Everything ties in. Okay? Let's go up.
When did they pour the terrazzo floors?
From the very beginning, we need it here.
What year?
We keep restoring it because terrazzo is too elastic. So the last 5 meters, we have to change them, replace them every 10 years.
When was it?
But the rest is original. And this is what we've said, the golden stairs. If you remember this, if you turn around and have a look up here, you will understand the reason why they called it golden stairs.
Oh, how beautiful.
This is real, 24 karat. It's lead.
Wow.
What did you put all this gold up here for? Can you imagine?
Or you can walk them.
Have you been in Versailles?
Yes.
In Versailles, you find at least the same quantity, if not more. Okay, why? Because if you're rich
You're rich.
and you put this everywhere, then you don't have to say I'm rich. They can handle it. Okay, so this is a way to show off, impress. Right behind you, there's the canal, do you remember? And on the other side, on this side, you can see the old jail with the bars. And in between, you can see there, you see the Bridge of Sighs, S-I-G-H-S. We'll be crossing it twice. Twice because we shall come out. Let's go out. From now on, you can take all the pictures you want, but please look at this. Without flash. Please switch off your flashes. Okay, would you? Please come in. So this is the third floor of the Doji's Palace. This was a waiting room. Whenever you enter palaces like this in Europe, you always find a waiting room. So there's a place where you have to wait, because top-level people do not come to you immediately as soon as you come in. They let you stay there. Because meanwhile, you can see some messages. What's the message you have to understand? Here. In front of you and also behind you there, you can see where the sides are. You can see the gods of your language. That one is a warrior. You can see he's got sword and scale on the other side. His name is Mars. Go to war. And in front of us, there's a naked woman. You see this woman up here is the symbol of the feminine beauty. Feminine beauty. Her name is Venus for the Romans, Aphrodite for the Greeks. Okay? And in front of her is Apollo, the symbol of the masculine beauty. This kind of man is not the one, Hercules is the bodybuilder, we would say today. This is a very simple man, can you see, without all the muscles. Apollo is just handsome. Okay? Then we have, look, Minerva, appeared, or Athena for the Greeks. Then we have Mercury, you see the wings on the head and then where the feet are, and so on and so forth. So what's the message you get as soon as you come in? Well, the message is quite clear. Hey, you reached the local Olympus. You are among God, where the cream of the local society meets. And in the middle, there is a woman and a man. Can you see the woman? Is a buxom one on the side. She's got the crown and the scepter in her hand. Her name is Venezia. Final A, maybe not all of you know this, makes any word in Italian feminine. So all the Italian towns, true Italian towns, end with an A. Alessandria, Verona, Padova, Piacenza, Roma, you know, and all the others. The others are not true local Italian, towns. Milano has got something to do with the Germans. The Lombards, Bards, B-A-R-D. B-A-R-D is beard. That's a German word. So they got O at the end. In the south, we got we say E. Napoli. Napoli is a Greek word. Neapolis, the new town. Bari, from baruch, teeth. Greek words, okay? But this is important, you know. Shall we forget words like America, Australia, Africa, Asia? You say Europe, look out. P-E at the end. We say P-A, Europa. So they're all mothers. That's what it means, the motherland. Okay, so this is the only town in Europe where up there is not a man, but a woman. The mother, not the father. Okay? This was painted by Tintoretto. Tintoretto was a local master. He belongs to the second generation of Venetian painters. The number one painted this. Look, this is the greatest ever born in Europe. His name was Titian. T-I-T-I-A-N. Titian was a genius. Okay. And he was never here, he was always abroad. But this is oil on canvas, while this is oil on plaster. When you paint on the plaster must be for sure not dry. Because if you paint on a dry plaster, the paint peels off. So it must be what? Fresco.
Fresh.
What does it mean?
Fresh.
Wet. In the same, you know, you got the same word. When you paint the doors, you have to let the others know that the paint is sticky, wet, fresh paint. In the same sense. So when you painted it, you have to work with the master. You say, sorry, with the mason.
Mason.
So you cover this part here, and you have to be quick because if white painting, some parts dry up and you paint on them, the paint peels off. So this is hell to all painters. Okay? Well, this is much easier. You paint on the canvas, you haven't got any limit. When you finish painting, you put the varnish over it, and that's it.
Done.
Okay, so the most important names so far are Tintoretto, fresco paintings, and Tiziano, oil on canvas. These all make it. Living room. Look at the difference between this canvas and this side and this. Could you come a little closer? This canvas has got only brilliant colors. Can you see this? This we call it Renaissance. Men's rebirth. This, we do not call it Renaissance because this look, the 80% is only black color. Have you noticed it? With some lights, so this we call it in English, chiaroscuro, which is not English. But it means light and dark. That's what it is. Who painted like this? The Dutch. Rembrandt, Van Dyck, you know, and the Spanish painters. We cannot forget the Spanish painters. El Greco, Velázquez, Ribera. Okay? And that's it. This was a waiting room for the ambassadors. The ambassadors had to be welcome in this big room here. Okay? And this, would you have it? Is collegio. Collegio, it sounds like college. So they had to welcome the foreign ambassadors. So here they wanted to show off. How can we show off? What would you say? Well, normally we put gold everywhere because once you come in, you can understand that these people have to be very, shall we say, indecently rich. And that's it. This was painted by Veronese, the other very famous painter, Venetian painter, belongs to the second generation. Okay? Veronese means the one who was born in Verona. Please come a little closer. Don't you stand there where the door is because we block the local traffic. I don't know where you've been in Italy. Only you visit Rome, the Vatican. No, not yet? No?
No, not at all.
Okay. Where have you been?
Milan, Como, Portofino.
Okay. Normally in Europe, in Venice, you find, in Italy, all over, you find the Renaissance painting, which is this. Can you see this? All the colors of the rainbow. Can you see? This is Renaissance. And also the ceiling. Can you see? Here, look at the blue. Look at the canvas on the ceiling. Last one, right over the sheets. There is Venezia enthroned. Can you see her? Very young lady. Look at the blue of the sky. It is 450 years old. I said 450 years old. It's unbelievable. It's breathtaking. Cleaned, we've cleaned it. In other words, we removed only the varnish. Once you remove the varnish, you find the original colors. And that's it. We did it for the millennium.
You don't revarnish?
No, we remove it. Today we can remove only the varnish, so the dirt is only on the varnish, not on the pigments. So once you remove the varnish, you remove the candle smoke. Candle smoke. In those days they didn't have this, did they? They had torches, candles. And the smoke, I remind you, goes up. So the ceilings were completely black. Thank God today, when we remove the varnish, we remove all this. The dirt, the candle smoke, you know. So what we see is what the master could see at the end. And this is extraordinary, for sure. Okay. And that's it. Now, you can this to this. You see the same difference? This to this. This is Renaissance, this is Baroque. Why? When this was rebuilt after fire, the two ways of painting coexisted in the same day. So when this was rebuilt, they had Renaissance painters and Baroque painters in the same days. So from now on, we'll see both in every single room. Okay? Please follow me. Now you can go on your own, because wherever you find these colors, can you see? This is Renaissance. Whenever you find the contrasts in the palette, you find the way of painting of the Baroque painters. Can you see this? And this were painted by Tintoretto. And Tintoretto was a Baroque master. Okay? This is the Senate. The Senate Senate is, well, quite heavily decorated, can you see? Here you can understand that these people were quite rich. And this explains, listen, the reason why Shakespeare wrote The Merchant of Venice. Because Venetians were not only rich, they were this rich. Okay? Why were they this rich? Now let's deepen a little bit, you know. problem. Venetians were merchants, so they bought things everywhere. They imported this from everywhere to here. And the most important thing were spices. Most important one, black pepper. Okay? What did they do with the black pepper? Many of us say that with the black pepper, one could preserve the meat. This is fully wrong. Because, you know, with the salt, you can preserve. With the black pepper, you can cover up. Cover up. In English, you say spice up. Okay? Spice up. If there is a smell, you know, especially with the meat, because meat at this latitude rots like this, especially in summer. Okay? So don't you forget that to buy the meat, they had to spend a lot of money. So the others ate the corn pie, we call polenta, have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Vegetables, bread, no proteins. So meat cost a fortune.
No fish?
Fish, only fish, yes, for sure. But you know, when the meat was starting to rot, they did not throw it away right away. They, you know, tried to first cover up the smell. How? With the black pepper. You've eaten salami, all of you. What have you found in the salami?
Pepper.
Look out, this has disappeared. Have you noticed that? You also know mortadella, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger, you know, and then in big slices you find the peppercorns.
Right.
Okay? Sorry, you could find the peppercorns. Now this has disappeared because thank God today we have the refrigerators. So we do not get the bloody black pepper anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? That's it. That was the business of Venice. The business, monopoly. And that's the reason why Shakespeare wrote The Merchant of Venice. Okay? Of course, they had to go from here to India because we cannot grow black pepper here. We have to go to India. Have you got an idea of the distances to go from here to India?
Pretty far.
No. It took back in those days from 2 to 3 years.
Years.
They had to go from here to the Holy Land first, then overland on foot from Jerusalem to India, across all the countries of the Middle East on foot. Okay? So, Vasco da Gama in 1498, from Lisbon, he went south by said ship, so he could reach Africa immediately, and he could go from Gibraltar to the other side. As you know, right behind Arabia, there is India. Okay? So if you follow the coast, you go from Morocco, let's say, to India, but he could reach it in 6 months, not in 2 or 3 years. So what does it mean? In 2 or 3 years, the Portuguese had gone and come back every 6 months. So in 2 or 3 years, they could do it from 4 to 6 times more than what Venetians did before. Now, I don't know if you remember, recently we used to destroy the crops to keep prices high. Because the more you introduce into a market, the lower the prices go. They drop. Okay? So, because of this, prices dropped, not here, in Lisbon. So after this, everybody went to Lisbon. They didn't come here anymore, did they? This is what we call competition. So Venetians fell from less wealth into the mud in 6 months because of the discovery of Cape of Good Hope. The real end occurred in 1797 when Napoleon came in with the troops. That was the end, physical end of this camp. Okay? But before, they were this rich. Compare, please, this canvas here. Can you see? Above our heads to that one. Can you see that is Baroque and this is Renaissance. And notice Venezia is the one in the middle on the clouds. The first on that side, right hand side, with the beard and the wings in his head, is Jupiter. And you teach me that Jupiter or Zeus is normally represented in the center. He's number 1. but not in Venice. In Venice is number 2. Venezia is the number 1. Okay? Would you? Any question about all this? No?
Is there any fighting during World War II in Venice?
Is there any what, sorry?
Fighting World War II.
No, because this was a strategic area. It was nothing. Genoa and Milan, Turin were bombed, not Venezia. This is a museum in the open air. This was the room of the Council of Ten, and very briefly, the Doge in Venice was elected for life. We had 120 Doges. They were like puppets, like Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth is what? The symbol of Great Britain, but without any power. She hasn't got any power anymore. Okay? This whole function of the Doge, he was elected for life to represent the state, but without any power. We had 120 puppets. But only one, in 1355 tried to get the power. That was a coup d'etat.